What is up, everybody? I want to welcome you to the DJ Boolanger Show podcast and live stream. Honestly, this is the inaugural episode of this, me doing it solo. My name's Nathan Baker, aka DJ Boolanger. And for those of you that are in the know, you'll know that I host a Buffalo Bills themed podcast with another person named Rick Bates on the Cuca Bills Backers channel. So if you are migrating over from there, really cool. If not, welcome if this is your first time, because I have a special guest. It's the first time I've hosted myself, and I have a special guest, and our guest is Chris Wright. Chris, want to welcome you here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. I can see you. I'm really impressed with your production. This is cool. I love a good production. Um,
I try.
Sometimes when we're starting out, we tend to do things cheesy, and it looks like you put some work into
so Chris, kind of to introduce Chris, Chris is basically been a friend of mine for a long time. Like, I think we've known each other since like 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
Um,
it's been a while.
yeah. So we've known each other for a long time. So beyond being longtime friends, Chris is a host of the Real Estate Happy Hour Weekly, and that's a podcast and YouTube. And it's a podcast about real estate, politics, entertainment, and trending social media. And bam, that last one is pretty much what has brought us together to do this one, because we definitely have a passion and a combined interest in the social media, in trending social issues. I'm a sports guy. I know you're a sports guy too. And one of the big trending issues over the last week was a tweet that was put up by Rashard Mendenhall. And
And I'm a Steelers fan.
and
And I'm a
and you're a
Steelers.
Steelers fan, so that is something that we kind of got the ball rolling and talking. Let me kind of show that tweet here real quick, because I think that it's definitely something that people, if you, pretty much everybody kind of knows what's going on with this one. But if you're not, this is the tweet. The tweet basically is, I'm sick of average white guys commenting on football. Y'all not even good at football. Can we please replace the Pro Bowl with an all black versus all white bowl so these cats can stop trying to teach who's good at football? I'm better than your GOAT. I honestly think that last sentence is the only thing that's truly controversial about that tweet.
Now, here's what's shocking. 81 million new people think he's an idiot. That's a
It really,
lot of views.
it's funny because I know that when I first saw the tweet, I thought it was funny. I obviously went to social media and I kind of Googled it, and coming and seeing what's what the world has to say about it, just all sorts of stuff, and people thinking it was controversial. One of the things that I think I mentioned to you when I first reached out to you about this, in doing and putting this on video, is we're friends. We've been friends for a long time, and obviously, this topic is kind of the third rail of conversation in America, where it's just like, it seems
Right.
like if you touch it, you have to be careful, or you get zapped and you're fried. But
Yeah.
I think that this tweet and the way that it's been reacted to has been so positive that I think it's brought people together, because I think sports people in general have a camaraderie. And I think that people of good, in good faith, that are friends and really want to talk about it honestly, have been able to see it from a really respectful aspect of, like, yeah, you probably do have us in a particular aspect, but at the same time, it's like, kudos, hey, we got you on this position. And so one of the things that Chris and I are going to do here is, we've created rosters, and we're going to kind of put together the all white team, and he's going to put together his team. So first off, what are your thoughts about the overall, just how viral this all went?
Well, in your audience, they don't know me. I love conversations about politics, race, society in general. But I only like to talk about race, particularly since I'm a black man, because people we're always accused, being black, of pulling out the race card, things like that. And I like people to know I don't like to talk about race unless it's in a positive manner, unless it brings us together, it's not divisive, and we can have an intellectual, unemotional conversation about it. Sometimes people get charged, and that's not who I am. Um, I have a mixed race family, so I like people to know that I come from a place that I only like to talk about race when it brings us together. So I wanted to point that out, and I don't condone anything that Rashard has said. I don't agree with his post, but it is something that we can have fun with. I love JJ Watt's response. And we can say he said something like we'll get burned on the corners.
Yes, yes.
So that was funny. But I knew we were gonna have a lot of fun with this today. But since your audience didn't know me, I did want to preface by saying that I'm not some guy out here condoning Rashard Mendenhall. And the guy looks horrible, by the way. He has the nerve to do video. I'm like, if I had a face looking like yours, I would not do video. So no, so my whole thought about it was like, it was a very ignorant post. It's sad that he would be serious about something like that. But it's definitely something that sports fans, sports people can have fun with. That's my take on it.
Oh, and we have had fun with it for sure. Like when we were talking yesterday about let's actually do this on video, let's put this team together. I could just tell in your voice how fun you were having, how much fun you were having. And the one thing that you asked me is like, we got to come up with team names. So let's start right there.
Okay.
I'm letting you go first on this one.
All right.
What's the
So
team name?
Black Legs Matter.
Black Legs Mad?
Yeah,
Oh,
Black Legs Matter.
I like that. I like that. Give me your thought process on that.
Well, I figure, you know what, since we're talking about an all black team, we're talking about speed, running. It's Black Legs, baby. Black Legs going to win out every time. So we're Black Legs. We're going to go back to Jimmy the Greek when he said white guys don't run as fast as black guys.
You know, in the fact that it comes down to Black Legs Matter, it might come down to your kicker's leg too.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
It might be. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. And I have to tease. I think the most controversial of all of my my roster may be in that department. So we'll tease that now and we'll talk about that later. So okay, my team name. You know, we're all about the white team is really about cultural reappropriation. So I really went the Caucasians. It's not super original. It's been done, but and then there's variations of it. We could be the fighting cocks, that I like that one. Our mascot could be Swifty. We could be the Swifties. Or we could
Okay.
just be like an homage to the New Zealand rugby union team and just be the all whites. So any of those, but I kind of like the fighting cocks.
The fighting cocks. I
And
like that.
that's kind of where I went with that. Um,
Mhm.
what's fun is that I thought that the fun part of this, and again, I didn't sit down to think about what would the all black team look like until about a half hour or 45 minutes ago. So focused on putting together my team. So how do you want to start this? Do you want to start with like
Well, we got to start with our coach. We got to
well,
start with our
okay,
coach.
let's go. You start. Who is your coach?
Well, obviously, um, the, obviously,
Obviously.
the winningest black coach in NFL history with 170 wins and counting. The 13th winningest coach of all time, only 2 wins behind the revered Bill Parcells, 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl win. Obviously, Mr. Michael Petaway Tomlin is the
Wow. All
coach.
right. Mike Tomlin is the coach. I like that. Um, I kind of was debating between two. I mean, we've got the greatest of all time right now. I mean, and he's playing and he's coaching and has always coached in pretty much the whitest place that there is in North America, the Northeast in Boston. But I'm actually going to go. I'm going to go with Mike McDaniels. I think that he embodies modern whiteness. He's a geek. He's pipsqueaky even, and he's all cerebral. It's all cerebral, but relatable, totally relatable, and he really tries really hard. He tries, and his shoe game is on point. So
Oh yeah.
I'm going with Mike McDaniels as our coach. Honorable mention to Dan Campbell, because that guy, I mean, he's like, Belichick is just like, duh. He'd kind of be like, I think Tomlin's a no-brainer, but like Belichick, it's like, yeah, but we want to shed kind of like the old white stuff, the
Right.
bad white stuff, and I think Belichick kind of represents that, where McDaniels is more. But I think Dan Campbell, he just, when you think of a white coach, that's the style. You can hear it. You can hear it. You can
I
smell the
saw
Old Spice, right?
I saw old Chris Rock footage, and he started off his joke by saying, "So I went to South Africa last week. Wait a minute, maybe I was in Boston."
Yep. Oh man. All right. So we got coaches underway. We're wrapped up there. Now, do you want to go defensive? Because I think the offense is probably the more entertaining aspect of this. Let's start with the defense, and let's get you know what? Let's get the lines out of the way, because I think that those might be the least interesting and fun. So why don't you tell me who your? Because I honestly think that the offensive line didn't really come to mind immediately, but that might be a spot that you should worry about.
Not really. All right. So my edge rushers are
Not really.
not really. My edge rushers are Myles Garrett, Cleveland Browns, and Micah Parsons, Dallas Cowboys. Those are my edge rushers.
Those are your
My
edge
interior,
rushers.
good edge rushers, right?
Very
My
good edge
interior
rushers.
is now here's the thing with my interior. I was Chris Jones, KC,
Yep.
and I was thinking about going with Quinnen Williams at the Jets, but he doesn't have longevity. So I'm gonna go with Aaron Donald of the Rams.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Quinnen Williams is kind of a newcomer. He's a new kid on the block. But I'm going to go Aaron Donald only because he has a career. He's all pro multiple times. He's an MVP. I mean, he's a Super Bowl guy. So those are that's my line. I don't know, man. Myles Garrett, Micah
It's
Parsons,
you
Aaron
know what?
Donald.
I think that D-line, you definitely have the edge. Like when I think one of my first comments to you was, we're going to get after the quarterback. Team White's going to get after the quarterback. Our edge rushers, I mean, TJ Watt, come on.
Oof. Yeah.
TJ Watt, Max Crosby,
Oh my God. Beast.
anybody named Bo. And honestly, like Crosby, I have to say, I even had a thought about making him our mascot. Like, that guy just embodies what a
Sons
white
of Anarchy.
football player. God, he's a ginger. He's all tatted. Have you ever seen like his tattoos?
No, I never.
If you,
I'm
it's
scared to
cool.
look
Like,
at the guy.
I saw a picture of him, and his tattoos are like of Jordan, and I don't know if like LeBron's on there, but it's like yeah, he's got some very interesting tattoos. So Crosby, um, so edge rush, we've got no problem, and we could go small because we have enough to really fill an entire line, but we would get pushed around. So getting a little bit bigger in the interior was a little bit more of a challenge, but I added Brent Urban from Baltimore, John Kaminsky from Detroit, and then Harrison Phillips. I believe he's still up in Minnesota. He's a big boy. He was like Kyle Williams' replacement when Williams retired here in Buffalo. But Quentin Williams at DT for you guys is like, as a Bills fan, we see that guy twice a year, and he is
Right.
beast. Christian Wilkins from Miami. I mean, you're so deep on the interior line. Now,
Yeah.
question for you: this is
Yes.
kind of controversial because we also talked about this one in texting back and forth. Is that are we only able to kind of draw from like black for you and white for me, or like are there race adjacents, like
Well, I
the
was thinking about this because
Polynesians? Because
I was thinking about that, and I was wondering, do I take the Hawaiians? Because the Hawaiians are like dark complected, but they're not considered black. They're Hawaiians, and I was thinking about some of the. So I just took the Hawaiians off altogether.
okay,
I was really I was really torn on some of the biracial people, and we'll talk about that when we get to QB. But so I left the Hawaiians off, but I wanted to steal some, like Troy Polamalu's, those guys. No, so it's up to you on how you see it, but you're going to have to justify it if you take some of the halvesies.
well, and not only that, but also like any mixed race
Okay.
players, because when we get into like the secondary and the defense, we'll talk about that. But let's wrap up
May
the
not have a choice but to take some of those guys.
yeah. Whew. Yeah. So let's wrap up the kind of like front half of the defense here. So that's pretty much my defensive front. Linebackers, I'll go first and then hear from you. So linebackers, oh man, Matt Milano, come on, that guy. Phew, we're good. We're good on the OL. OLB. Alex Singleton from Denver is phenomenal. Logan Wilson and Alex Anzalone from Detroit. I mean, the Detroit linebackers, we could have actually gone all three from Detroit. But I didn't know where Malcolm Rodriguez kind of fit in. I mean, he's Hispanic, so I don't know. Is that white?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
take them.
So I mean,
Take them.
yeah, Rodrigo. I mean, he could.
He ain't black. He's
So
not black.
we could have went with a complete. So we actually could have the entire Detroit Lions like linebacker core with us. So also Pete Werner from New Orleans and Andrew Van Ginkel, probably the whitest name on the list.
Good one
Uh,
too.
and him and Anzalone have like the like they've got the hair, they've got the blonde flowing locks. Yeah, had to go with those two guys just for aesthetics. So that's my linebacking core. What do you got?
I got Fred Warner from the 49ers.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I took Roquan Smith from the Ravens and Mario Davis of the Saints. He's an up and comer.
Oh, that's some run stuffing, getting after the quarterback.
Yes, sir. That's pretty
That's okay. How
nice.
about, now let's get to secondary. You go first. I think
All right.
this is by far
So this is my
the where you
guy.
have the advantage.
I'm picking this guy not only because he's good, but because he's very black. Some of my guys I had to pick for the culture, and I got to pick Sauce Gardner
Sauce.
as a cornerback because he wears the chain. He represents the culture. He's hip hop. I got to go with Sauce Gardner. He's like today's Deion Sanders.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. And then I'm going to go with a legacy guy, Patrick Surtain II out of Denver. He's repping Dad's name in a big way. All right. My safeties, Minka Fitzpatrick. I had to pick one
Oh
Steeler,
yeah.
right? And I was torn about my next safety, so I picked Derwin James out of the Chargers.
Yeah, we're getting throttled at that position. We are totally getting throttled at that position. Now, when it comes to the defensive secondary, I kind of this was hard. This
Mhm.
was like really hard. Like I couldn't think of safeties or corners that
Wow.
like I'd put out on an NFL field that'd be like, okay, we can just jam, and that may be what we have to do. Whether it's like some of the tight ends, we'll get into the offensive side. I think, but I kind of took inspiration from Will Compton. I kind of saw an article that he put up. Let me kind of pop this up here real
Mhm.
quick. And what he did is he had people go more or less two-way. So his
Oh,
safeties, uh, basically cornerbacks. He had Riley Moss and Cooper DeJean and that kid plays college. So he went into the college ranks, but he more or less said that at safeties, Harrison Smith and Christian McCaffrey's going to have to do dual duty. He's going to have to play Ironman football, and I think on at the corner in what I have on my squad is we're going to have to play two-way as well. I'm going to be
mhm.
going two-way with Thielen on one side and Cooper Cup on the other. Like those
And do
guys
you think Cooper Cup can defend?
better than anybody. I mean, what are my options? I mean, we're gonna find out. We'll find. You know what? I didn't dive too deep into finding out if they were two-way players in college or high school,
Good
but
point.
I'm assuming that they could. Uh, you know, we're kind of deep at the tight end position.
Oh,
So
yes, you are.
so there are
I
guys like
struggled there.
Dalton Kincaid that was a rookie for the Bills. There's like multiple rookies all over the league that might be serviceable in the the wideout.
So let me ask you a question: are tight ends all state, high school, college receivers that just weren't fast enough in the NFL, so they converted them to tight ends?
Or
Because like
quarterbacks or quarterback, yeah.
I think like Pat Fryermuth on the Steelers is an amazing catcher. He can catch his ass off.
I think what it is that it's such a versatile position that they're big athletes. They're big athletes. You find that that's the position that guys are most likely to be a crossover and be super basketball stars. Like, I mean, even going back to, what's his guy? Geez, I'm drawing a blank from Kansas City. Tony Gonzalez. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
that position has a rich history with being just super athletic, but man, also they can move people. They can move people. All right, hang on one second. Let me wrap up my secondary here. Again, this kind of teased it a little bit earlier. If we were gonna be specifically, you have to be one. I mean, how do you gauge that you're 100% of anything these days?
true,
So
true.
if what was it that you told me that if you use a particular word you can be on one or the other? Was that
So if you're mixed race and you use the N word, you're with the blacks.
okay?
If you don't use the N word, or if you don't look like the kind of guy that would use the N word, you're with the whites.
All right. Well, I've never heard these two dudes use that word, so I'm a homer.
Okay,
Jordan Poyer, Micah
there
Hyde.
you go.
I think they both
There you go.
and even rap. I think the Bills safeties all are
Yeah.
serviceable. So I think we're okay if we go that way. If not, again, we're filling it with probably tight ends, or I might even throw Josh Allen back there in a pinch. The dude, can you imagine that guy coming over the top?
Oh no,
Oh,
oh no.
I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to
He
get hit by
is
him.
so athletic. I don't think people give Josh Allen the credit for being as athletic as he is.
Well, let's segue and use that to hop into the most coveted position on the team, and that is the quarterback. And my
Oh,
QB1 is QB17, Josh Allen. I think that he just embodies everything there is about this team and this topic. I mean, and honestly, he actually could probably play for your team too, because if I recall, there was a big issue on draft night because he used the N word in a tweet when he was like 14.
that's hilarious. So I thought long and hard. I didn't think it would be this difficult. So QB, I was looking for QB1. Are we going to do QB1 and QB2 in
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
Okay.
You can
So I
do
was
we
looking
can
for
do
my
multiple. We could do like three if you want.
Okay, that's fine. I got all three. So I was looking at QB1, and I was even RG3 said, if you're picking a black team, you could pick Patrick Mahomes. But I'm just so torn on Patrick Mahomes because one, he's so light skinned. He's your complexion. That's number one. And
Oh,
number
his
two, he talks like
Kermit the
black
Frog.
comedians imitates white people. You know that accent that all black comedians do?
He's
Like, hey,
Kermit
I
the
want to.
Frog.
Yeah. So I'm like, he doesn't even sound like a black guy. So I don't know. I'm torn there. And then just, and he has a white wife, he has a white mom. And I'm just like, I think if
And
things
we've
became,
seen his brother, right?
oh, yeah, he's a little bit thuggy ghetto. But so Patrick Mahomes to me was like, if things got really rough, he'd stand on the sideline going, I don't know which way I'm going to go in this one. So I kind of pushed him to the side. Then I thought about Dak Prescott. He's very corporate. When everybody kneeled and they asked him what he felt, he jumped on Jerry Jones' side and was like, well, I just want to do what's best for the NFL and what's good for the Dallas Cowboys. And I was like, nah, you can't represent the blacks. So I had to go all the way black. And I went Lamar Jackson. He's the
Oh,
blackest
come
QB
on.
in
Yes.
the NFL.
Not even close. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. I thought if you're going to represent the black, he's the darkest skinned. He wears the hair. His boys love him. He's well respected by his teammates. He's more vocal than Jalen Hurts. So I was like, I'm going Lamar Jackson all the way.
And
He's
he
the
was
blackest
and he's
to
his
ever
own
play,
agent. And he's his own
and
agent.
he's his own agent. He said, "Screw the man. I'm not down with the man."
Oh,
So,
that's awesome. All right, so who's your backup?
right, my backup, I'm going to go with Dak, and then I'll go with Patrick Mahomes. Believe it or not, 'cause I had to go color variations,
All
just like
right.
the crayons that I showed you.
All right.
We
I
got
like that. I like that. Well, as I
those
told
are
you,
the
I'm going with Allen as my starter. I've
right.
seen a lot of in a few of these lists. I've seen Burrows is number 2. No, Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
Come
You
on,
going Rogers
that
over
we're
Burrow?
talking that dude. Relax, just relax. It's all gonna be okay. We're all gonna take some ayahuasca. We're gonna go to a rave. I mean, didn't that dude date Danica Patrick at one point in time? I mean,
Yeah. Oh, he's done some good ones.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and he's all about. He's been in Green Bay. He can interact and relate to white receivers. He had Jordy Nelson for all those years. It's too bad
Oh.
Jordy's no longer playing because maybe we could bring him out of retirement. Maybe he could
And
play
Marshawn Lynch
secondary.
is kind of like one of his best friends.
Yes. I saw that story. Was it the Shannon Sharp
Yeah.
podcast with him? And that was like a fantastic story. So Aaron Rodgers is my number 2. Obviously, Josh is number 1 for all those reasons. And number 3, Gardner Minshew.
See, I thought you were going to pick Tommy DeVito.
No, because well, I could offend a whole different group of people with
Yeah, I was
comments
gonna say
about
one day we're
Tommy.
gonna have to do our non-white, non-black European style players. Tommy DeVito will represent the Italians.
Oh man, he's that whole deal is something else. And I think I just saw this morning that news was breaking that he'd fired his agent. I've never seen an agent be so active with a player.
He fired the guy with the hat.
Yes, because supposedly there was an appearance at either a pizzeria, of course, a pizzeria, and they were told a price. I think it was like $5,000 or $10,000
Wouldn't
for
that be
the.
like a black guy having an appearance at Popeyes?
You said it, not me. You said it, not me. But yeah, it would be, and he ended up charging 5 and then double, and then after DeVito beat the Packers on Monday, or what was that? I think that was Monday night, ends up
Yeah.
doubling the appearance fee, and that didn't fly, and so supposedly he ended up firing him, and I can't remember who, but I've never knew. You don't know agents,
Right.
even the big ones are usually like, okay, you know who they are, but they're usually behind the scenes. I've never seen a guy like sit with a family and just like totally buy into a stereotype like that. That
That's
was
what I was
wild.
saying. That's why I used the Popeyes reference. It'd be like Lamar Jackson's having signings at Popeyes.
What would Lamar Jackson do if his well, he doesn't have an agent, but
You don't know.
let's say that Geno Smith's agent showed up and looked like whatever that looks like. Just what would that look like actually?
I have no
Oh man.
idea.
That's too
God.
good. That's too good. All right, let's hop into the offensive line.
Before we do that, can we just talk about how Dak Prescott just does not have a personality or an image? Like, what is that guy? Like, how do you describe him? Like, I don't know. He has no personality to me.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned because I have no thoughts. I just like, yeah,
That's what I'm
great.
saying. Like, how can you be one of the elite premier players in the NFL and no one even like you're an afterthought? Like you're the captain of the America's team, so to speak, and no one even cares.
I think that for all the things that you just said is the only reason we know about him. If Prescott was the quarterback for the Jaguars or even the Buccaneers or the Chargers, you'd have the Chargers are in LA, so maybe that. But like Seattle or something like that, you wouldn't know
New
who he
Orleans,
was. Yeah.
no one would even know who he is.
You wouldn't know who he is, but it's only because he is. And I mean, he's kind of like I always thought Romo was the same way. But Romo had personality and he was fun, and you could obviously tell that like his crew loved him, and he had
Yeah,
such a like interesting relationship with Parcells for the most part, and almost got like the seal of approval from Parcells at the beginning. Where Prescott, you're right, he just is like wallpaper. And I mean, it's funny. The only thing interesting about him is here we go. I mean, that is it. Like
that's it.
that's it. There's nothing else that I can think about him that I'm like, oh yeah. Does he pitch anything? I mean,
I don't.
nationally?
I don't think so. I've never seen him on a commercial, and all I could think is if he did get a commercial, it would be like Colonial Penn Insurance.
Yeah. Well, and and the thing is that like after they're just getting throttled this last week in Buffalo, his post game press conference just looked, yeah, whatever. I mean, just no emotion. I've never seen the guy like really animated one way or the other.
He
Yeah,
spent his entire career trying to prove he's elite.
he is not elite.
But that's what that every
But he,
year it's about is Dak elite? Is Dak elite? And I'm like, why are we discussing that? He's like the captain of America's team.
I mean, this could be a nice part of this conversation. What happens if you switch him and Justin Herbert?
I think Justin Herbert would be an American hero.
Can you imagine him throwing to like CeeDee Lamb and having Ferguson and Pollock? Oh man, maybe. And
Dak would be on the
that offensive line, that's pretty much kind of like doing the segue to offensive line. I mean, Zach Martin, man, can you imagine like Herbert actually having like even Mike McCarthy's a better coach than what that guy's had in his
yeah.
career out. I mean, and how is he not even in my thought process of like one of our top three? No, it's Gardner Minshew. I'm taking Gardner Minshew over Herbert. You know what? Because there's
Okay,
a guy
wait a
that
minute.
really doesn't have any personality either.
I let that pass. Why Gardner Minshew?
Have you seen the guy?
I saw him dance in the locker room. It was
Oh,
pretty amazing.
I remember like.
In fact, I would pick Gardner Minshew on the black team after seeing that dance.
That's you could do that. You could do that. I don't know if he uses the N word, but you could definitely do that.
He probably does in private.
I remember the first day that I was made aware of Gardner Minshew was back when he was with Jacksonville, and they were on their way home from the game. That he got in and led some heroics, and he's wearing the flyest like leisure suit that I'd ever seen. I'm like, who is that guy? And he's never disappointed since. And what's the guy's name that was his coach in, was it Washington, that just passed recently? Mike, was a Texas, I think the Texas Tech one of the best. I'm drawing a blank. Those two were made for each other, but like I'm going with Gardner Minshew just from because we're never going to get to him. We're never going to need him. I mean, Josh is never going to get hurt.
All right. Yep. Where are you going next? RB1 or line?
No, let's do the line.
Okay.
Let's do the line. So here's mine. Basically half of the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line. We've got Lane Johnson at tackle and the tush-push leader himself, Jason Kelce. Those are two from Philly. I've got Quentin Nelson from Indianapolis, Zach Martin from Dallas, and Ryan Ramczyk from New Orleans. So that is a very stout. We're gonna move some people with that up front.
All right. Well, I'm going to go. Well, here's the thing.
I think we might be better on the offensive line too.
Well, we'll see. My tackles were Trent Williams off the 49ers.
One of the best of all time.
Andrew Thomas at the New York Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Rashawn Slater of the Chargers. And Ronnie Stanley from the Ravens. Those are my guys. Now, I didn't really have a center, so I just took Tyler Smith from the Cowboys and made him a center.
Is that a position that is dominated by white people? White dudes?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why is that?
Because I think most big black guys go, man, I ain't playing no fucking center.
But why not? I swear to God. I guess it's a lot of responsibility.
It's a ton of responsibility.
I mean, you definitely are doing line call, blocking assignments. Yeah.
I was looking, man. I think I went like 5 to 6 linemen deep, and I couldn't find a black center.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever. I just
took Tyler Smith from the Cowboys, who's a really, really good lineman, offensive lineman, and I just made him my center. I figure once he hikes that ball off, he's going to be hard to get past.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, tight end. You go first.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I did. My first, because a lot of times offensive lines they'll line up with 2 tight ends, so I'm gonna go with my tight end 1, David Njoku from the Browns.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I could find. And then what I did was, because of AJ Brown's size on the Eagles, I made him a tight end. If I had to go 2 tight ends.
You're not going to be running the ball much. You're going to be. I mean, if you got the corners that we have, it's all going to be on the perimeter.
Believe it or not, I did not need AJ Brown at wide receiver, so I said, I'm going to take him on my team. Where am I going to put him? So I'll make him a tight end.
Man, there were so many options here. And no Waller.
Diggs.
No Waller, huh?
For what, tight end?
Yeah.
No, I just used Njoku. He's pretty good. He's pretty solid. He's serviceable.
Okay. All right, well, tight ends, we've got Travis Kelce. Duh. George Kittle. Those are the top 2.
You guys could literally have 22 catches.
Oh, yeah. TJ Hawkinson, Sam Laporta, Jake Ferguson, even the new kid in Buffalo, Dalton Kincaid. I mean, and then the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So tight end, we're solid. Wide receiver, I mean, we've got Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen. Obviously, we even had a few more that I think are serviceable. Hunter Renfro's not bad. Renfro's okay. Braxton Berrios from the Jets. We have, I think he finally got called up. I've actually wanted to see a little bit more of him. Andy Isabella in Buffalo's like he has got that Cole Beasley type of.
Where's Cole Beasley, by the way? Is he retired?
I didn't put him on the list because I think he retired. I know he's not playing anywhere, but if he's not officially retired, come on, Cole, we got you. I mean, and honestly, He'd be a nice add. And then lastly, Jake Kummerow. Those are that's where we're at wide receiver / cornerback.
So I'm going with the best route runner in the NFL, Devontae Adams, on one side. Then I'm gonna go with Justin Jefferson because of Tyreek's speed. I'm putting him in the slot.
Oh my God.
I know, right? And then like those three alone, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill. I don't know if we could keep up with them, but
And
I'm
your
telling
top
you,
three doesn't even include Diggs. That's wild.
and that's what I said. He's my
That's wild.
flex. Like I got
Yeah.
Stephon coming off the bench.
I mean, and that dude runs routes so crisp, man.
Oh, he's amazing.
Adams, you can't miss. You can't miss. I don't know if I told you. I was out in Vegas last week and ended up seeing that debacle that they took care of the Chargers. And
You were at that game?
I was at that game.
Oh, that was a beautiful game.
You know what's? It's not often that you witness a blowout like that you want to stick around and watch. Like usually it's like, this game's over. I'm going to watch something else. But there are few games in history where you're like, I want to see how bad this gets, and that was one of them. There was a game a number of years ago where and I think that was a Monday night game where Tom Brady and this was 07-08 when Brady had Moss and they came in on a Monday or a Sunday night game and they rolled up like a 50 burger plus on Buffalo, and it was one of those that you stuck around. You're like, how many points are they going to score?
But that's what I wanted to see when the Dolphins beat the Broncos. I wanted to see how many points they're going to put up. And not only that, they were doing it in such a fashion. I was like, oh, they're doing trick plays. They were doing like it was all like what it was like watching the Globetrotters.
You know what? And now that I think about it, it probably was personal for our coach McDaniels because
it was definitely personal
because he started in Denver and I think he wanted.
He's a Colorado kid.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you not even give me a look?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
that's why he's our coach, man. That's why. Man, wide receiver, we're toast. Yeah, we're toast on the.
Who are your wide receivers again? I mean, who is your number 1 and 2?
Cooper Kupp and Adam Thielen.
Cooper Kupp is pretty.
Yeah, no, right, we're good.
Here's the thing. I think with Cooper Kupp, Kittles, and Kelsey, it's almost a nice balance.
Well, here's the thing. We're going 12 personnel. I mean, we're going 12 personnel. We're doing 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, maybe bringing in a fullback, which I didn't even really roster, but there's plenty of them out there. If you really look at our running backs, like anybody under Christian McCaffrey can pretty much play fullback. We're running 12 personnel, especially with Josh Allen. We're just trying to control the ball. Because, again, we are going to have to, because if we're going to keep a score in the realm of, the 20s or even 30s, we're going to have a ball control possession game, because it's going to be a track meet when it comes to you guys having the ball. It's just facts.
100%. 100%.
Facts.
So who's your RB?
Running back, hands down the best in the game, Christian McCaffrey. Backing him up, another San Francisco back, Kyle Juszczyk. Got Rex Burkhead from Houston, and then another controversial one. Again, depending on if we're being sticklers here, Austin Eckler. I mean, he's mixed, so that's because if that would be a solid third, but excuse me, fourth. But Christian McCaffrey, I think we're good.
Yeah, you're good. All right, so I had a hard time picking between Rashard Mendenhall on the Dolphins and Josh Jacobs. So that'd be like a 1 and a 2 for me. I just think they're both really, really good. I can interchange those guys down for down. Who do you think is better, Jacobs or Mustard?
Saquon Barkley.
If
Jacobs.
I think Jacobs. I don't know.
Oh, we got a comment. Rehire Matt Canada. Paul Manzari chimed in on the comments.
No way. I'm a Steelers fan you're talking to, buddy. So Jacobs and Mustard, and those are the two. I didn't even think about Saquon Barkley because I'm not a big fan of his, but I don't know. Yeah, those are my backs.
Yeah, I don't think you could go wrong with any of those guys. So
But
here's
here's
the
the thing:
thing.
we're not running that much.
Well, right, and the thing is, Mostert is like like if you so he's on my I have him on my fantasy league, and he's not a ton of he's only had a few games where it's been about yardage. We're going to give this guy the ball inside the 10, and he's going to rack up a ton of touchdowns. And that's
He's at
really
18 year to date, I think.
yeah, that's really where his value is. Where I think Jacobs is just he's and no Henry, huh?
I thought about Henry, but I just thought about speed. I was thinking about Josh Jacobs' speed, and I just thought about Raheem's eyes. I think he has great eyes. He finds holes.
Yeah.
He gets to them quickly. He gets
I
to them
think you're
quickly.
okay. I mean, Mostert's going to. I mean, when it comes to short yardage and
That's
getting
all we need.
touchdowns, and that's the thing.
Get me down to the 5. He's in.
I mean, but here's
Guaranteed.
the thing: are you ever going to really have the ball inside the 5? Because I mean, are we going to catch you? Really? I mean, I'm thinking big
So
play.
let me tell you my
I'm thinking
special
big
teams philosophy.
plays.
Let me tell you my special teams philosophy since we're there.
All right.
My special teams philosophy is that we do have a punter. The Steelers has the only black punter in the NFL.
What's his name?
Oh, what's the guy's name? Presley Harvin III. The big
third.
boy.
Oh, if
Presley
the
Harvin
third.
No relation to Percy Harvin.
That's hilarious. The third. How about
So,
place kicker?
now, here's the thing. We'll only punt on our own side. If we're across the 50, we're going for fourth every time. And we're only going to go for 2. We're always going to go for 2.
I think
What's the point?
that's a great in right. Yeah, you're only going for 2. I mean, you just fade routes and cornerback.
We're only going for 2. And like I said, if we're on the other side of the field.
You know what? And your success rate on those 2-point conversions might actually be better from where you would kick the field goal. Or kick
and
the
like I said, and we're going to go for it on fourth down every time as long as we're on our side of the other side.
Absolutely. All right, so here's
even if it's the 4th and 15.
So here's the thing. I think we're going to end up having to kick a lot.
You think with Josh Allen?
I think we're going to have field goals in particular. I don't know about punting, but I think field goals, and I think that our coach is going to scheme stuff. You know what? I can only dream about what's that?
What's Josh Allen's third down conversion success rate? He's pretty good.
Well, here's the thing. In this simulation, he's behind Jason Kelsey. And can you imagine him with we would call it the snowplow, but like the brotherly shove? Or the snowplow actually works perfect for this, actually.
The snowplow. Don't call it the brotherly shove. Call it
the snowplow. But man, anything like Philly, when there's if anything less than 2 yards is automatic, I think that would also be the case here. His third down and fourth down conversion rate is solid. I don't know specifically, but it's got to be when it comes to, comparably to other people, other than maybe Jalen Hurts, it's got to be right up there.
Here's what you got, though. I think the white team has long drives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Long. I mean, in minutes.
And they're going to eat up clock. We're going to score in 3 minutes. You guys are going to score in like 7 to 8 minutes.
Did you say? Wait, your wide receivers, Tyreek Hill wasn't one of them?
Yeah, Tyreek Hill was.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. I said yes. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and who else did I say?
Holy cow!
Right? Oh, Justin Jefferson on the Vikes.
So here's a question I have. No, so we have Mike McDaniels as our coach, and we know how what an
offensive minded.
Yeah. You have a defensive coordinator as a coach.
Mhm.
Is he going to be calling the plays? How's that work?
I don't know. I like that the guy said bring Matt Canada back. No, I don't think that Mike Tomlin would even touch the offense. He'd be like, Tariq, you're the captain out on the field. Call some plays. Let's go. He got Lamar Jackson too. You forgot about our legs.
Yeah, that's your short year. I mean, him and Mostert. Holy cow, that's
We got. I think we're going to score fast and often, but you guys are going to eat up clock.
yeah. Oh, and we have to if we want to keep it close, we have to
Especially
eat
with
up
the
the
tight end.
clock. And
You
so
guys are
if
going to
we
be.
do end up getting in a situation, my special teamers, kicker, Justin Tucker, of course. But here's the most controversial player on my team. Punter, Matt Ariza, the punt god.
Why is he?
Hasn't
Why is
ever
he?
punted. Has never punted in a regular season NFL game. That is controversial, and that may actually be, of all the things that we've talked about in this conversation, that might be the one that could get me canceled. Are you familiar with him?
No.
So
Who's he play for?
he was the kid that Buffalo drafted him. It was
What's his
like
name
late
again?
round. What's that?
What's his name?
Matt Ariza. Punt
Name
God
sounds
was
familiar.
his nickname, and he was he was there was a civil suit because he went to, I believe it was San Diego State,
Okay.
and him and some some of his, I don't know if they were frat brothers or teammates, were sued by a female, and said that they gang
That's
assaulted her
right. I
or
remember
yeah.
him.
And so he ended up getting cut before he got into the regular season, and then they found out that it was basically allegedly fabricated.
Right. I
So
remember him.
now he's like not playing anywhere. I don't even know if he's played in the CFL, but there have been stories over the last week or so that Buffalo has continued to be in communication with him throughout the process, or throughout his how while everything went down. So,
That's a PR
anyways,
move. That's a PR move.
that guy,
They
when
wait for
he
everyone.
in the preseason games that he did play, holy God, it was literally again. You hope we're never, if you do punt, it's literally a field position changing prospect. But I don't think with either team that we've put together, you're really going to get to that point.
Yeah,
Do you
100%.
have any final,
No, that was
t-
fun, man. I mean, it was fun to think about it. And here's the thing, man. If you're, I don't think it'll be the blowout on the black side as some people might think. I think that you guys, because you're holding on to that ball, and Josh is getting 7 to 8 yards per click, it may take us a while to touch it. And I've seen good coaches manage games like that. Be like, the key is to keep the ball out of their hands. Because if they get the ball, they're going to score.
yep.
I played Madden like that. When I played powerhouse teams, I'm like, I'm going to run. I'm
Basically,
going to
every Giants
chip
Super
away.
Bowl win has been like that.
Yeah, I'm going to chip away. I'm chip away. And then what happens is when you guys do get the ball, we just never can get it back.
Right. And you clinch up, and you feel
Yep.
that there's the pressure of, we got to make something happen. And I mean, whether I just don't see any interceptions happening. So it's going to have to be a fumble.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think
No,
so.
but this was fun, man. It was a
So
lot of fun.
real quick, assessing my team, where do you think the strengths are, and where do you think the weaknesses lie?
I think your strengths are tight end, offensive line, um, definitely QB, and I think your weaknesses are in the secondary. You definitely got special teams locked up. Justin Tucker can boom that thing from 60 yards. So, but yeah, I think as long as Lamar Jackson's not taking sacks and throwing picks, we're gonna burn you.
Burn. I honestly, looking at your team, other than special teams,
Mm.
no. There's no weaknesses there.
Yeah,
There's none. That's impressive.
I know.
All right, my man. That was fun.
All right, man. This was a lot of fun. So, when will this be on? We're live,
So
right? It's a live stream.
we've been live stream. I will be uploading this to YouTube here momentarily. So it'll be on the DJ Boolanger YouTube, and I'll send you a link so you can share it with your audience as well.
That'd be awesome, man. All right, listen. You have a good day, buddy.
You too,
Thanks for having
Chris.
me on.
Always a pleasure. Let's do this again.
Let's do it. Can't wait. Yeah, I could be like your Shannon the Skip type situation.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't think we make stuff up like that.
No, we don't.
It's real. This is like real.
Hey, by the way, is this a weekly show? Wait, I'm going to start watching it and keeping up with you. Have you decided yet?
That's what I hope. That's what I hope.
Okay.
You know what? And I think maybe you and I should do something.
Yeah, let's do something.
All right.
We'll figure it out. Like I said, I like shows that. One thing I do like about the new Stephen A. Smith show is that it's not all sports. He talks about all topics.
Yeah.
And we can definitely do that.
Definitely.
All right, brother.
Love you, bro.
Enjoy.
Have a good one.
You too. Take care.